Welcome once again to another episode of Behind the Scenes, the Dear Grandpa, It's Michael podcast. Today we are joined by filmmaker Anthony Carniello, director of Dear Grandpa, award-winning creator of Making a Friend, and someone who uses storytelling to build empathy and connection. The title, Dear Grandpa, It's Michael, it feels like that's a title with a lot of emotion behind it. What does that title kind of sort of mean to you?
Honestly, it was mostly through personal experiences because, like Michael, I had a similar background with knowing somebody that left a big impact on me. With Michael's with his grandfather, for me, it was with somebody. He was a friend of the family who. Well, I grew up in Toronto, 5 days a week, living with my grandmother to go to a school for ABA therapy, and I was reading the script while I was working on it with Tyrone, who was the producer, and Jeff Hart. The three of us agreed that not only we were going to put, well, not to, the emotion through my experience, but not in Michael's, but also with a lot of people that may have those similar experiences, or other people on the spectrum that had those experiences. And I feel like that was the main selling point, was to deliver that emotion to the audience.
Being on the autism spectrum, do you feel that that gives you a bit of a unique lens when it comes to telling stories through film and understanding emotion on screen?
Honestly, it does, because I feel like not a lot of the average person can see that unique lens. And as a filmmaker myself, it's my job to present that unique lens to the audience, to invite people into the world, what someone on the spectrum is thinking, what he's seeing from their point of view. So it and the that and also that unique lens as you describe.
Now, my next
Yeah.
question here: when people finish watching our film that we're promoting, Dear Grandpa, It's Michael, what do you hope stays with them? What do you hope they will keep as memory of the film? What do you hope they'll take away from watching the film?
I feel like, uh, well, looking at the story as a whole, it may seem like there's not that much going on. It's your typical slice of life movie, but I think it's more than that, because you're seeing the viewpoint of someone on the spectrum and their experiences, and like you're seeing, the subject matters of abuse, bullying, connection, and the loss of someone special, all through the point of view of the person on that spectrum. And that's something that not a lot of films can present that representation. And I feel like with Dear Grandpa, I think that is something that people can look back and be like, yeah, that film did that.
Which anime that you've seen has had the biggest impact on you creatively as a filmmaker and a director?
Honestly, to this day, it's My Hero Academia. Like that anime alone, like that's the show. Well, it came out really around the time I was doing my victory lap in high school, and that's the time that we're recording this interview. This year marks the 10th. Right now, it marks the 10th anniversary of the anime's first airing, which is around the time that also where I discovered myself, and I want to be a filmmaker and write stories and present them and to present them to the world. There's a lot of anime movies, where it and other animes that gave me a lot of inspiration. But I think My Hero Academia, I think, is the one that not just puts me on the career side, but also as a person.
We're going to jump over here to your other film that you did alongside with Your Grandpa It's Michael, Making a Friend. After the success of Making a Friend, did that give you more confidence as a filmmaker, or did that put more pressure on you as a filmmaker?
It honestly could tell me to continue pushing as a filmmaker, because if I basically taking the lessons that I have learned from that experience and trying to figure out what I can do with my films later down the road. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, like I feel like that's what it did. Like, it's a long game, long road. It's the long game, but I think it'll be, but never giving up and you know giving you the confidence is probably what you need.
Now, if younger Anthony, that kid who found comfort in both movies and anime, if he could see you now directing films and do pretty much doing what you love, what do you think he'd say to you?
If I were to go to my younger self and say, "Hey, you're later down the line when you get older, you're going to be a filmmaker. You're going to make, you're going to create stories. You're going to be like your heroes." I would probably would not get it, considering I was on a completely different level back then. But at the same time, though, I would get so hyper and excited, of like, oh my god, yeah, it's pretty crazy how far I became.
Now, we're going to switch gears here once again. We're going to kind of talk about some emotions relating to film, I guess. Because film helped you understand emotions and connection growing up, has there ever been a moment where making films taught you something about yourself that life hadn't?
Elio, I'm surprised no one saw that in theaters. I'm very disappointed. Like, that's the marketing problem. That's mostly on the studio.
Yeah.
So, the idea of being, are we alone in this world, really resonated with me, considering a lot of people on the spectrum get that feeling as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of other movies too. I can go on and on what movies, and particularly anime films as well, and
Mhm.
soaps. But yeah, I think when it comes to my mind, mostly Pixar, since that too, they were the studio that gave me, that taught me a lot of life lessons as well about
There you go.
yourself.
Has there ever been a time in your life where you still felt unseen even while things were going good and life was going your way and stuff was like succeeding for you?
Honestly, yeah, a bunch of times. I mean, even though I'm starting as a filmmaker, I feel like not a lot of people are recognizing the representation in the film industry. Like, to this day, I talked with Tyrone about this not too long ago, about, how a lot of people on the spectrum are having a hard time getting work in the film industry. And not a lot of people are taking their time to invest in people on the spectrum
Hmm.
to be on set and all that stuff. It is a really tough. It's mostly for how we're being presented right now in the film business.
We talk a lot about this film that we're making, Dear Grandpa. It's Michael. If this film that we're making becomes the film someone watches during one of the hardest moments in their life, when they're down on their luck, when nothing seems to be going right, and they, let's say, turn on the TV or turn on Netflix or whatever streaming service and they see this film, what do you hope the film says to them when it feels like no one else can?
That's tough to say because, like, we're all humans. We go through different emotions. We go through different parts in our lives that are tough. If there's something that resonates with them, then that's wonderful. Like, I'm happy about that.
When people talk about you, Anthony Carniello, when people talk about you years from now, what do you hope they say matters most? You as a director and as a person, or your films?
Again, it depends. It depends how people would see me and that stuff. I would like to be known down the road as an A-list director who that would make a lot of good movies, work with a lot of these A-list people in the film industry and all that stuff. Like Andy Carnell, a award-winning filmmaker. But if people just see my movies and will recognize me for the work I make, then I think is very satisfying. That's also satisfying. It's how people look through the lenses.
That's awesome. Now, where can people find you on social media if they want to learn more about you and more about the films you're helping to create and the work that you do?
You can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Carnello1. It's basically my last name, and you just add the number one.
Okay.
So yeah, you should be able to find me through there. And I'm also I'm busy working on upgrading my YouTube channel. I got a lot of surprises in store for how I want to do present my work moving forward. So
Awesome. We'll put those links in the description for all the folks that are listening. And thank you very much, Anthony, for joining me today. And thank you, everybody, for
problem.
watching, taking the time out of your schedule to join us here on Behind the Scenes, the Dear Grandpa, It's Michael podcast. Do all of the cyberspace things, like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends. Spread the word. We want this to reach not just one person, not just 10 people, but 100 or 1,000 or maybe even more. We'll see you next time.